All right, guys, we are here for another episode of Meet the Blind here at Saavi Services for the Blind. My name is Jordan Moon, and I have the pleasure, the absolute pleasure, to talk to Roxanne Torres today. Roxanne, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, Jordan. Thanks for having me. This is such a great idea. Meeting the blind. That's awesome.
Meet the Blind, Meet the Blind. Roxanne, can you tell us what you do at Saavi?
Yes, I am the statewide interpreting and family services coordinator, which means that I actually organize and coordinate all of our interpreters that we provide, language interpreters for students that come from all different parts of the world, regions, refugee camps, every place. So we'll provide an interpreter for them so that they can go through their classes while they're learning some English. And the family services part is with our children and youth program. I'm kind of like that contact person for our families with any questions they might have about the program or events.
And not only that, but she's also in charge of a lot of the volunteer things that we do here at Savvy. So if there's any questions that you have about our volunteer efforts, family services, or interpreting, you are listening to the person you need to talk to.
That's
Roxanne
right.
is the person. She's awesome at those jobs. We're very, very grateful to have her. But enough about your professional life. I heard, and I not only heard, but I know that you are a grandma now. So
I'm a
how's that?
Nana. Yes, I'm so
You're
excited. He's
a
going to
awesome.
be little grandbaby boy named after my dad. His name's Ermilo. And actually, his mama works with Savvy too, my daughter Alyssa. He will be 2 months on the 16th, and I'm just crazy, Jordan. I'm so excited. He's coming in November. He's bringing his mom too, so that'll be all right.
Oh, they okay.
But he's coming in November. They'll be staying with me till I think August because Daddy's in the army and he's going to Europe for a few months. So I'm gonna have all of those
Oh,
first
nice.
first things, to see with the baby. I'm so excited.
Christmas, Halloween. Oh, that's gonna be great.
Mhm.
Thanksgiving, all that stuff.
Yes, 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 yes. I'm
Okay,
excited.
that's awesome. So I know that you are a native to Tucson, right?
I am. I am never left, born, bred, stayed. I'm here. And it's amazing, because I have traveled in my lifetime, I have traveled to quite a few places. And there's nothing like Tucson. It's got that big city, small community feeling. And because I've been here for all of my life, there's always that, you know someone that knows somebody else, that 2 degrees of difference, which is pretty cool. I love Tucson.
Tucson's a great city for sure. And I know,
Yeah.
knowing you, you didn't grow up speaking Spanish, but you ended up teaching yourself Spanish. Can you talk a little bit about that?
I did. Like, I spoke a little Spanish. My parents are American born. They're American born of Mexican descendants. And they were seasonal workers. They worked out there picking lettuce and grapes and whatever else there was out there to pick. And their Spanish, the Spanish they spoke, I don't want to say it was broken, but it was like in Spanish we would use the word ranchero. Like it was just some words were kind of made up, some kind of words were kind of put together. But when I was about 14, we traveled to Mexico City, and I noticed the Spanish, there was just such a big difference in how they spoke Spanish as to how I spoke Spanish at home. So it really sparked my interest. I really started just dedicating myself to learning, learning, learning. So I am a very proficient speaker in the Spanish language, and I guess you would kind of say I'm self-taught. To this day, I'll download a book in Spanish, because I want to grow my vocabulary. And it's so hard for me because instead of being entertained with the book, I hear a word and I'm like, oh my God, what's that word?
What is
And
that
I
word? I
start to
gotta look
go.
that up. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so annoying, but I do that a lot. I have that tendency.
and
But
that
I love my language. Yeah.
and that's how you become an interpreter, ladies and gentlemen, right there. But I think it's super cool how you taught yourself the language, and it's a good example, that just because you're blind doesn't mean you can't teach yourself things. Like you have countless examples of staff and students, right, for that matter,
That's
here,
right.
who are blind, but like don't let that stop them from learning a new skill or like picking something up. So that's a great example. I'm glad you were able to share that with us. One of the things too I know that you're interested in is shopping. Um,
I am.
you are you are can you just describe a little bit about your passion for shopping? And I don't know, blind people shop, right? There's people saying that. So how do blind
Exactly.
people shop?
Exactly. I love it. I mean, I absolutely love shopping. I'm kind of growing into that online stuff, but the online stuff is more for like my house stuff and whatever.
Mhm.
But right now, because of COVID, I haven't, I'm so sad. I have not bought a new outfit in a long time. But
Oh
I love
no.
being there in person because I can actually look at the fabric, try it on, see how the
Yeah.
fabric drapes my body. Um, Hair products, facial products. I love it. I love it. And what's interesting is you get so many just so many reactions. One of my pet peeves that I will tell you, and I'm gonna put out there in the community. It's no community people out there. When you have an individual who's blind, and maybe I'm accompanied by my daughter who also loves shopping, we're shopping together. She's not there helping me, she's shopping with me. And when I go to an associate and they direct the conversation to my daughter, super annoying. I'm not invisible.
Oh yeah.
I'm paying for my stuff. She ain't paying for it. So talk to me, because that's one of my biggest peeves. My hairdresser is pretty cool. I've been going to her for 20 years. She's, you know, knows what I like, knows what to do. Makeup's a lot of fun. That within itself, people will kind of, check palettes and talk to you about all of that. So that's pretty descriptive within itself. But yes, Jordan, I'm very sad. I have to say that this year, no Black Friday shopping for me. One of my very first in a long time because of COVID. So it's going to be Amazon Prime next week.
Hey,
It's on.
Amazon Prime, you can still find some great deals.
It's
So
on. Yep.
it's not completely a loss, but there is nothing like going in store in person, and it's awesome to see blind people out there. And please, yes, like Roxanne was saying, respect blind people when they go into shop or eat. Like I had the same situation. Um, going out to eat and people would say, "What does he want?" Like
Oh,
I'm very capable of ordering my food.
makes me cringe. Mhm. Yeah.
So this month, Roxanne, just talking to you a little bit before this interview, it's a special month for three very different reasons for you. Can you talk to us about why that is?
It is, for me, it's kind of like that Mythbuster month, So, first, it's Meet the Blind. Lots of myths out there about us, those of us who are blind, right? It's also Hispanic Heritage Month. Lots of myths there too, but it's a big celebration. Lots of celebration on my heritage. But another one that was a big part of my life is I am a domestic violence survivor, and it is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So all of those three are a big part of my life. Obviously, the blind. I am a blind individual, and it's really important for me to make sure that the community is educated and not ignorant to what is real and what is not real about those of us who are blind. Um, Hispanic Heritage Month, what can I say? I love my raza. I love it. I love my language. I love my food. I'm very proud to be an American born Mexican. And you might think, well, what are the myths about domestic violence? But, when I was before I got involved in a very violent relationship, it was actually my second marriage. I myself perceived it with so many myths. Not until I lived it did I realize it. So lots of times we say, what's so hard about it, man? Just get up, grab the keys, take off. It's hard, and there's so many different types of the intimate partner violence. It can be emotional, it can be physical. Not just because you don't see somebody with a black eye or bruises doesn't mean they might be suffering some type of domestic violence. So I survived, raised my girls all on my own. I did it, I made it. um, and I'm living my life. I'm living my best life right now, Jordan.
You are indeed. That's quite obvious. And thank you very much for sharing that story because, again, the goal of these videos is to show people that, we're blind, but we also have so many other things as part of our life that make us who we are. So the final question we have for you in regards to that, Roxanne, those three pillars that you have right there, um, if somebody were to say like, Roxanne, how would you describe how each one of those three things has shaped you to kind of see the world in a different way? Like what would you say? How are you uniquely Roxanne, and
You
how
know,
have those three experiences shaped you to become who you are?
that is such a cool question, Jordan, because they all tie into one another. So culturally, I was kind of brought up to find a man who could support me and take care of me. It wasn't go to college or go to the university to get your master's or your bachelor's. It was go to get your MRS, right?
Mhm.
And I didn't pursue my education, I should say, because I was really unaware of all of the resources back then that I could have had that would have helped me go through school. So that's the cultural part. And it ties into, you know, getting myself involved into making really wrong decisions in relationships. And I know that's not steered just because I'm blind. I know a lot of people make a lot of bad decisions when it comes to relationships, but I really wanted somebody to take care of me. I knew what my eyesight was, even though I denied it to many people. I knew what was going to happen eventually. So I really wanted somebody to take care of me, just be there for me, support me, get me a house, pay my bills, do whatever I needed to do to live like everyone else. Well, and then I lost my sight. And you know what? I learned that I could do it all on my own. I didn't need anybody to support me. I didn't need anybody to buy me a house. I didn't need anybody to do anything for me. I did it. And with blindness, it's the same thing. I had to accept who I was, where I was in my life, but I needed to realize, just like any other blind individual needs to realize, that in the end, guys, no matter what, if you're blind or not, you only count on you. That's it. Parents, relationships, children, they're not a guarantee, but the guarantee is you. So all of those for me, Jordan, tie in beautifully. And that's why this month is just such a wonderful month of celebration for me.
And that's a great way to end this segment. Remember, it's all about you. Thank you, Roxanne, for
Thank
joining
you.
us today here for Meet the Blind. And remember, guys, it's not about what you can see; it's about who you are.